Please rise in body or spirit and join us in our opening hymn. Number 63, Spring Has Now Unwrapped the Flowers.
Spring has now unwrapped the flowers, day is fast reviving, life in all her growing powers, toward the light is striving, gone the iron touch of cold, winter time and frost time, seedlings working through the mold, now make up for lost time. Urban plant that winter long slumbered at their leisure, now be stirring green and strong, find in growth their pleasure. All the world with beauty fills, gold the green enhancing, flowers make glee among the hills, set the meadows dancing.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Is this okay? Yeah. My name is Gail Rushford. My pronouns are she, her, and I am your worship associate on this perfect Sunday morning. We welcome you into this sanctuary where we celebrate diversity and learn from one another, no matter our differences, to deepen our sacred connections and transform the world with love. Let us begin our worship with these opening words by Fred Rogers, a.k.a. Mr. Rogers. Uh-oh, I went way up. Oh, you do the two fingers, okay. I think I'll stick with mine.
Here, there you go.
Bring your own device. Okay, so Fred Rogers, a.k.a. Mr. Rogers. If you could only sense how important you are to the lives of those you meet, how important you can be to the people you may never even dream of. There is something of yourself that you leave at every meeting with another person. We are so glad to have you, the one and only you, here with us today. As we pay attention to how unique each one of us is and how each one of us affects this community in very important ways. Heather will get us started with some announcements.
Thank you, Gail. Good morning, everyone. I'm Heather Norby. I'm the Spiritual Life Director for this congregation, and I use the pronouns she and her. Love plus connection equals transformation. That's our motto around here, and so here's some ways that you can connect and help us transform ourselves and the world. This Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. here in probably our social hall, actually. No, the meditation group is in there. We'll be in here in the sanctuary for Creativity Matters, and this month we're going to make our Easter bonnets. We'll either make them or, fix up last year's Easter bonnets. I don't know if you saw the pictures in the newsletter, but we go all out for Easter bonnets here. So bring a hat, bring a bonnet, bring some supplies, flowers, bunnies, birds. Use your imagination, whatever you like to put on your Easter bonnet. Bring it on in. I've got glue guns. And maybe I'll have some other supplies, to help decorate, but come on in and we will joyfully create those together for our Easter service on April 5th. Which also, I want to mention, our Easter service will also be Afterwards, we'll be having a goodbye party because Nikki McCarty and Jason Beadlow that's their last Sunday with us, and then they're moving to Michigan. So good for them, sad for us. We're still going to celebrate that they were able to be a big part of this community. And there might be drag queens, just saying, because Nikki and as we are connected to Rose Dynasty, and so I have invited Mom Ashley Rose to be with us. Okay, so hospitality, have you signed up? Remember, radical hospitality is a way to be a part of the resistance. There's a sign-up sheet on that podium there as you come in the door, or the stand as you come in the door. This Saturday, there's a No Kings protest, so see Athena or go online to figure out where it is and when to show up. And Athena is back there. Next week, we have a special guest speaker, the Reverend Patricia Gallagher, whom I met through the Interfaith Coalition of Polk County. She is also the coordinator for the, it was just in my head, a Center for Expanded Consciousness, which meets at the Unity Church. She's a retired Episcopal minister, and so she's going to be with us next week, so please join us. If you remember, we have an annual meeting coming up at the end of April, and the night before that annual meeting, we're having an annual dinner. Well, an annual dinner is no fun if there's no entertainment, but it's up to us to provide the entertainment, right? And so I need for all of you to sign up for the talent show. You can sing, you can dance, you can do a comedy act, you can, like we've seen with Jane and Blenda many years ago, peel a pomegranate. I mean, you know, we're wide open to ideas. Come entertain us, sign up. And as I told Tom Bergen, I'm not going to do my karaoke act unless I get 7 of you to sign up. I will not be alone in this, okay? All right. Jen's going to be sending out a communication survey soon about where do you get your information from. Since Marcia has passed away, and we are looking for, or we've had new volunteers working on the newsletter, Nancy and Gail, but you know, Nancy's returning up north because she's a snowbird, and Gail is willing to publish the newsletter once a month. So we're looking to sort of revamp how we get our information out there. And so we need to know from people, like, where do you get your information from? Because maybe it's the newsletter, or maybe it's Facebook, or maybe it's from the pulpit. So Jen's going to be sending something out, and we hope that you all please take the time to think about that and turn it into us so we can better serve you. We're also looking for a bookkeeper or a treasurer. If those are your skills, please, by all means, let us know. Vaisel is currently in Turkey and is, I guess, planning to be there for an extended period of time to take care of his mom, and so we need to fill some roles. So please see Jen if you have some financial know-how and skills, if you can help us out. And finally, great big thank you to everybody that helped with our yard sale yesterday. It's been a very, very busy 2 days. And Crystal and Ken and Dorothy were the yard sale leaders and did a huge amount of work. And so I want to give a great big thank you to them. And you may have noticed that despite the fact that they are very, very tired, they're still here. Crystal, yeah, and helping with the car wash, Ken and Dorothy. Listen, if Dorothy met you when you were coming into the sanctuary today, you may have noticed she was a little bit off. She's tired, and she's still going. And so, and Crystal's in the tech room, and they're setting up hospitality and all of these things. And so, I want us to notice how much they do, because I want for all of us to help them out. We don't want to wear them out. We really don't. And there were a lot of other people, too, at the yard sale. Yes, there were. Let's see, Nancy. Thank you, Nancy. Let's see, who else we have? Georgette, where are you? You're over there, Georgette. Thank you. Thank you very much. And Gail and Dan and Donna and Tom, thank you. And I know I saw a couple other of you here and there, Tom Bergen and Tim and Ken. Thank you. And Melissa was here late Friday night, because that's how we roll, Melissa and I here, putting our stuff out on Friday. So thank you all very, very much. We raised over $900. So, okay. Good job. Good job. So thank you all to everyone who donated and made that possible. And there's still, hold on, I thought I was done. I got these other notes here. Okay, we have a 26-inch girls' bike left for sale. It's $25. And we have this beautiful oak and coffee table, and there's 2 matching end tables in the hallway. The set is $50. And so if you are interested in buying those, please see Ken, Dorothy, or Crystal. One more announcement from Melissa. Today at 12:30 in the parking lot is the auction car wash. So if you signed up to have your car washed and you paid your $10, then I guess see Melissa at 12:30, and we'll get a line going for whose car get washed first. And anybody who wants to help wash the cars can certainly help Melissa, Jerry, Ken, and Dorothy. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now I think that's it. Okay. So be sure to check the back of your order of service and our e-newsletter, which will be published on Monday. That will be the last weekly one, and then we're moving to monthly. Check those for more information, other events. Thank you. Gail.
So the flaming chalice is the symbol of this Unitarian Universalist faith. We light it each Sunday, as do UU churches around the world, to create sacred space, to connect us with one another, and to remember who we are as people of faith. Let us center ourselves in love as we recite the covenant for our shared UU value of equity. We declare that every person is inherently worthy and has the right to flourish with dignity, love, and compassion. We covenant to use our time, wisdom, attention, and money to build and sustain fully accessible and inclusive communities. Ken Wechter, would you please do us the honor of lighting our chalice? And now, let us rise in body or spirit for our hymn, Spirit of Life.
Low in the
Well, this is normally our time for a message for all ages, and certainly you are all people of all ages. So, and Athena, you can come up and sit on the pillow if you would like to. It's a day for the young at heart. It certainly is. It certainly is. Yeah. And Sage is here too. Oh, and here Tom is young at heart, and yeah, young at heart. Come on up, come on up. Let's see, is this if this mic is on, I can come and. All right. Well, good morning. Oh, yeah, and Beth is also young at heart. All right. Thank you. Well. Oh, and Isaiah, of course. Yeah, we're growing here. Yeah, perfect. So, you all know who Mr. Rogers is? Yeah. Sage, do you know who Mr. Rogers is? No. Ooh, I think I hear Mr. Rogers. Ah. Well, Mr. Rogers was he was a very kind man who had a TV show. And when I was growing up, I watched that TV show every day, especially when I was in kindergarten, every day, because he had this ability to make you feel so special. And I think that he's a person that lives still in our hearts, right? His words and his music, they're so meaningful to so many of us. And I thought, we need him right now. We really need him right now. So today, we're going to hear a lot of Mr. Rogers' words and even sing some of his songs. Well, one of the things that Mr. Rogers said was, one of the greatest dignities of humankind is that each successive generation is invested in the welfare of each new generation. And I think that's really meaningful because that means that we, as grown-ups who are still young at heart, need to be invested in our young ones, right? It's really important. Because if we're not, and data shows this, and of course the UUA has done a lot of research on why do young folks, when they graduate high school and they go into college or they come out of college, how many return to Unitarian Universalism? And if there's a large portion of people that don't, why is that? And one of the first things they've noticed is that, well, do the adults know who they are? Are the adults really listening to them, right? And does the minister know their name? And I'll say, as a former kindergarten teacher and someone who has a daughter that grew up in this church, always make it a point to learn their names and so much more about them. So as grown-ups, it's our responsibility to be there for them. So he also said, however, I think the young feel pressured by the older generation. But I realized it isn't just the older generation doing the pressuring. Young people are pressuring older people to change too. And it can make us feel uncomfortable. But it isn't all bad either. I know how much I learned from my parents and teachers, and I know for sure that I'm learning from my children and the young people I work with. I don't do everything they want me to do, and they don't do everything I want them to do, but we know down deep we'd really be impoverished if we didn't have each other. And I think that's very true. And a lot of times, older folks, myself included, we can be kind of stubborn about learning and changing and listening to the younger folks. But it's really important that we do and that we hear what's going on in their lives and that we take their ideas and incorporate them into our community. We have a covenant in Unitarian Universalism. A covenant is a promise. And covenants are at the center of our faith because we come in here with these very strong values, and the covenants are what remind us that this is how we're going to be together to make these values come to life in the world. And so we have a covenant for pluralism, right? We have that poster up over there. And the covenant says we covenant to learn from one another. And that doesn't just mean us as adults. That means us as older folks, middle-aged folks, young adults, teenagers, and even our littlest children. We covenant to learn from one another in our free and responsible search for truth and meaning. We embrace our differences and commonalities with love, curiosity, and respect. And so today, we are welcoming in new members. And so we are reminded of our covenants. We're going to say covenants to one another. And so I want for us as a congregation to really think seriously about our covenants with the kids, and for the kids to think seriously about their covenants with each other and with us. So, do we covenant to learn from our younger folks? Yes. What do you think? Yes. Yes. And younger folks and young at heart, do we covenant to learn from the older folks? Yes. Yeah. I think that when we come together, it's not just the older folks' ideas win or the younger folks' ideas win. It's what we create out of all of those ideas. It's something more than just winning, right? Yeah. Well, that's all I have today. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you who are sitting on the floor and then can get up again. Woo!
I have secret things down here. You can't.
It's like magic. Suddenly taller.
They make me bigger. All right, it's the time in our order of service when we discuss our sharing of abundance. Our pledge drive is still ongoing. We don't have an update today. I see a lot of leaves on the tree. One side is a little naked. So we're going to keep collecting pledges. If you have any questions about what the pledge drive is or how you may participate, you can speak to any board member or me or Dave Mertz. I can't remember well, you're on the board. So any board member, me or Dave Mertz, there's lots of people here you can talk to about how to participate in the pledge drive. And I'll just say some of our usual words when we talk about introducing this topic. Here we gather, tucked back in this friendly neighborhood between the beautiful tall pines. We are a small church with big aspirations. One of those aspirations is to build a community of helpers. Mr. Rogers said, all of us, at some time or other, need help, whether we're giving or receiving help. Each one of us has something valuable to bring to this world. That's one of the things that connects us as neighbors. In our own way, each one of us is a giver and a receiver. And I want to mention, sometimes the things that we see every week, they don't register anymore. So we have changed on the back of the order of service. We usually have asked, what are some ways that you might like to volunteer or contribute to the life and actions of this community. So we've changed it up a little bit. There's lots of talents and things that each one of us find rewarding in being of service to others, and we're trying to help you match, what's relevant to you, what sings to you, and how you might take that and apply it to one of the many needs that we have here, or opportunities that we have here for people to contribute and participate in the life of the church. When we give of our time, talents, and treasures to UUCL, We also receive the gifts of a community, friendship, support, connection, and joy. And we want to help find ways to bring those to you. And the ushers will now pass our plates to receive your gifts. I was going to put mine in. Now, please repeat after me. It is a blessing to be. It is a blessing to be here. It is a blessing to be here now. It is a blessing to be here now together.
It seems especially difficult to choose hope in the current political climate. I know that I have been feeling almost completely zapped of my energy lately. It is perhaps I have to go to bed every night now worrying about my family in Qatar. And I appreciate that many of you have asked me about how they are doing. And the short answer is, they are okay, but always on edge now. Perhaps because Iran is now threatening the safety of people around the entire world, including right here, I am losing hope. How are you all feeling about this war? Yeah. Terrified. Yeah. Angry. Betrayed. Hopeless. Sad. Yeah. For sure. I am drained of a hopeful energy, perhaps because I had to do a celebration of life service for a 30-year-old woman who was a daughter of a friend of mine this last week, who passed away because of an overdose, much like my brother had just over a year ago. And perhaps I'm feeling a bit down and out about my own medical issues. And so, I needed Mr. Rogers this week more than I even knew. I read his words in that little book that Adam got for me a couple years ago. I read his words and I watched him sing his songs, those songs that I loved as a young girl. And because I know that you are all struggling too with the issues of the world and with your own personal issues, I thought you could use a dose of Mr. Rogers' healing medicine too. One of the things he said was something that many of us have heard but always need to be reminded of. It's something that gets us to pay attention. He wrote, "When I was a boy and I would see scary things in the news, my mother would say to me, 'Look for the helpers. You will always find people who are helping.' To this day, especially in times of disaster, I remember my mother's words, and I am always comforted by realizing that there are still so many helpers, so many caring people in this world." Well, I know that all of you are helpers and caring people. And being here together and seeing each of you helping and caring is a comforting, healing balm. Gail, would you please light our healing candle for us? So I offer you this prayer. Spirit of life and love, let us not forget the power that each of us has to be helpers and healers. Let us find our gifts and generously share them with one another, because that is the kind of active hope that we need to make it through each day. And ultimately, it's the kind of active hope that will quietly change the world. Amen, and blessed be. And so it's now time for our ritual of joys and sorrows. And I'm going to read again the words that Abby Dean wrote for us to describe our joys and sorrows, because I think that they are deeply meaningful. As a congregation, we come together in many ways. Through collaboration and commitment, we support one another. Our ritual of joys and sorrows allows us to put that into tangible practice. To begin, I want to bring attention to our Joys and Sorrows book. It is an opportunity to share with us something that is occurring in your life, whether that be an ongoing source of grief or something that made you smile for a brief yet memorable moment. It is an opportunity to express emotional vulnerability in a space where it is safe to do so. Before the beginning of the service, the Joys and Sorrows book is accessible to anyone who wishes to write down a personal joy or sorrow that will be shared with the congregation during service. It sits on the podium just through the main entrance to the sanctuary. And today we have from Crystal. Thank you to everyone who donated, organized, shopped, and cleaned up. Thank you to the volunteers for the yard sale. And thank you, Crystal. Dorothy says, she's so grateful for each of you, Tom, Donna, Macy, Robin, Heather, Ken, Nancy, and Georgette, for time and energy and heart you gave. Crystal worked hard on tables, packing, and cashier. You all worked so hard. Yeah, and so did you. I saw you at the end of the day, laying on the chairs. Dorothy. And Tom Morris says, fabulous cleanup job from yesterday. That's right, because Nancy vacuumed the entire sanctuary and the hallway rug. Thank you to all again who helped with the yard sale. It is beautiful in here. Thank you. All right. From Jay, a joy. Today I will sign the book and become a member. Yay. I found my family, and I'm finally excited about being here in Florida and look forward to all the shenanigans and shenanigans. Maybe you'll tell us about that. What's that? Peace, love, and shenanigans. Gotcha. Peace, love, and shenanigans. I didn't read the symbol, sorry. Yes, yes, yes. I love the love shenanigans. Brings me back a few years to when we did love shenanigans. That's another story. Let us say our little prayer. You are not alone. We are holding it together. So I now invite all of you to come forward to partake in our ritual of dropping stones into our joys and sorrows bowls. As a congregation, we value interdependence, and this is a part of what that means to us. As the little stone-shaped representations of our joys and sorrows collect in the bowls beside our chalice, they unite. However you experience this practice, and whichever stone or stones you choose, it is an act of coming together, perhaps with the divine, fellow members of the congregation, or parts of yourself that you wish to connect with. In this moment, you are welcome to come together in whichever way feels right to you. There's stones available in the back of the sanctuary if you don't have them already, and you may come drop them in the bowls on either side of the chalice table. And Jen will put stones in for those who are joining us on our streaming services. Good morning, and thank you for joining.
All right. Let us now center ourselves with some more wisdom from Mr. Rogers. As human beings, our job in life is to help people realize how rare and valuable each one of us really is. That each of us has something that no one else has or ever will have, something inside that is unique to all time. It's our job to encourage each other to discover that uniqueness and to provide ways of developing its expression.
So how many of you did watch Mr. Rogers as a child? Yeah. And with your children. That's right. Good, yeah. He was warm and welcoming, and you could believe him when he told you how special you were. I still believe Mr. Rogers. He's right when he says that it is our job to encourage each other to discover our uniquenesses and to provide ways of developing its expression. And that's actually a big part of what Unitarian Universalism is about, to companion one another as we walk our unique spiritual paths. Unitarian Universalism is about learning from one another so that we may learn more about ourselves. It's about making connections with each other that are strong and resilient. It's about co-creating together for joy, for hope, and so that we may discover the miracles of this universe together. And so when we welcome new members into our community, we should be aware of just how significant the moment is. We are welcoming in new people, sacred beings, to connect with. So with that, we will begin our new member ceremony. Today we're welcoming 3 new members, although only 2 of them are in person. Julia Davis, who many of you know because she's been around here since pre-COVID, is finally signing the book, but she couldn't be here with us today. But that's okay because we have Jamie, or Jay, and Stephen, who are joining us. And so I invite the 2 of you to just stand up. Just stand up here for just a second so everyone can say hi. Come on up. You can just stand just right there, and then I'll let you sit. I won't make you stand the whole time. This is Jamie Rhodes and Stephen Hunt. Say hello, neighbors. Thank you. We'll go ahead and let you just sit down just for a minute. I don't want you to get too tired. We're going to call you back up in a minute. So in our starting point sessions, you learned about our founding members, did I say that right? Okay, who dreamt of a vibrant future for our church. And here we are, in that future. And we are indeed a loving and joyful little community with so much energy to keep giving the world. And now we get to welcome new members who will help carry on the legacy of love, freedom, truth, and service that our founders left for us. It is exciting to wonder about what kind of future that we as a community will leave for the next generations. It is exciting to get to know the other people who will help co-create and sustain this community. When we get to know one another, we understand how our community changes with each individual that joins us and shapes who we are. Who will we be now, and what will we do together? More and more, I've come to understand that listening is one of the most important things we can do for one another. Whether the other be an adult or a child, our engagement in listening to who that person is can often be our greatest gift. Whether that person is speaking or playing or dancing or building or singing or painting, if we are the caring, helping people that we are, we can listen. So Jen, we'll call. Come on up, Jen. Jen is our board chair. She's going to help me with this ceremony. So I need some help today. And Gail, you've got so she's going to call you up, and I asked for both Jay and for Steve to introduce themselves and to say a little bit about themselves. So they prepared something for you, so you get to hear from them today and listen. So here we go.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you. I'm Jen Dean, and my pronouns are they, them. I am the board chair of this amazing congregation, and it is such a joy to be a part of welcoming the new members to our congregation today. So we are going to first call up, who wants to toss a coin? Who wants to go first? Nobody offered? Oh, Jamie even dropped her head. Steve, we're going to call Steve Hunt up to the podium and allow him to share a little something about himself.
Hi, I'm Steve Hunt. Heather suggested that I talk about my past religious and spiritual experiences, and I'm afraid that may be somewhat lacking compared to many of you, but here it goes. My religious experiences are somewhat limited. As an adult, I didn't attend services often. I did when I went to UF to pursue my PhD. I started going to the fellowship there, and eventually joined that. I agreed with UU principles. I liked the sense of community. I also liked the fact they had a lot of activities going on, like field trips to various places in North Florida and dinners at people's houses. My wife and I were married there. We edited the UU newsletter for a while. Then we had a falling out with the leadership and left. Well, we would have left Gainesville within a year anyway because I took a teaching job in Texas, and then various things happened, including the birth of our first child. So anyway, religion sort of got left behind, and I hate to admit this, but we never joined another church for 37 years until she died. Okay, I guess you could say I hold a grudge for a long time. Okay. So I was not religious and was spiritual only in the sense of my love of nature and my belief in peace and social justice and the other good stuff that Unitarians believe in. When Wendy died 11 months ago, I felt like I was drowning, and I grabbed at pretty much anything that will keep me afloat, including a bunch of support groups. After a few months, I remembered the sense of community I'd felt at the UU Gainesville, and I began looking at various fellowships or churches in this area. UU Tampa is probably closer to where I live, but they seem to be large and highly structured. UU Lakeland is small and rather informal, and so I think I made the right choice in coming here. I feel very comfortable about that. I have to admit I was not really looking for spiritual guidance when I first came here, but I had made some important changes in my life. I started to exchange my feelings of loss for gratitude, and having had Wendy for 39 years. She had always been grateful for what she had in life, even as her grip on life became more tenuous. In addition to gratitude, I learned generosity, thoughtfulness, optimism, and other good qualities I'm trying to implement. So I guess you could say I have gone on a spiritual journey, even though I did them mainly to honor Wendy and to heal myself. I found many of the services here to be very helpful in that journey, particularly those dealing with honoring the dead, thankfulness, and hope. And I've always found something thought-provoking and useful in these activities. I hope to participate to the fullest in various activities you have. I do live about an hour and a half from here round trip, so I'm not going to be here every day, even though you have stuff going on that sounds quite worthwhile and interesting, but I'll do what I can to help out. Interestingly, I do have certain skills I'll be glad to share. One of them sort of may fit in with the announcement earlier. I taught accounting at the college and university level for 40 years, and I'm also the majority owner of a successful small business, so I do have some skills in financial planning, management, budgeting, auditing, accounting, and so forth, so I'll be glad to share those. Okay. Also, unfortunately, last year I've become something of an expert on grief and ways to overcome it and move forward. Many people helped me in this endeavor, and I want to pay that forward, so anybody who individuals or families who would like to discuss, I'll be glad that issue. I'll be glad to share what I've learned and help in any way I can. One final thing I do want to say: for many years, my purpose was to educate people and help them get good jobs. So I was also a husband and father, but I think, like many men, I tended to describe myself in terms of the work I did. Then my work for a couple of years was taking care of my sick wife, and for the last 11 and a half months to heal myself. I'm now at the point where I can look for a new purpose in life, and I'm hoping that the congregation can give me some inspiration in doing so. Thank you.
Stephen, we would love for you to come sign the book.
Oh. Okay, thank you.
This is, by the way, the original membership book that they got in 1955. So yes, there are still some pages in it, and we're still using it. So you can go ahead and write.
All right, Jamie. Jamie Rhodes will join us up here and now share a little bit about themselves.
Hey, everybody. Hi. I am Jamie. I go by she, her, they, them. Consider myself non-binary, gender, queer, whatever that means to you. Talk to me if you want to know what that means to me. when I was sitting down trying to figure out what to talk about myself, because that's not something I really generally like to do, I was writing down all of these things that I consider myself to be, thinking, it would jog my idea factory in there to try to figure out what I wanted to talk about. And it ended up being more like I was writing some kind of profile for a dating site. And I was just like, okay, this is not at all what I want. So I just figured I would talk to you instead of planning so much. A little bit about myself. I grew up in Bartow. I was born in Alabama, but from the time I was 6 years old until I graduated high school, I was in Bartow. And so, growing up in Bartow, as it were, it wasn't a very safe place to be, both politically. Growing up, I was always the more liberal and, dare I say, progressive person in the school, in conversations, in groups. So I was always the odd man out. And because of the fact that I'm neurodivergent, feminist, socialist, regardless of all the labels, I am not perfect. I don't want to be. But I am perfectly me. And when I walked in the doors here, regardless of the past that I have had in other religions or political affiliations, walking in, I knew immediately, just by the air, just by the look on people's faces, that I was in the right place and ready to start the journey that I had begun moving back here, trying to take care of my parents, helping them as much as I could while restarting my life the best way I knew how. And in doing that, walking through those doors and choosing to push myself to go and get out and meet people and find that community that I know that I needed, I knew I was home. And I look forward to knowing you, not just knowing your name, but knowing you and you knowing me, and this being my safe place and my home. And I want to create that for other people too. So I think I've found the right place. And I'm very sure that I am. So in all of these things that I am, hospitality has been always at the forefront of my job. Because I love people. Yeah. And I like feeding people. And people like eating. And so I think that's where I am going to find the most use here. As I am a creative, an idealist, a passionate person, together we will find a future where we can all be safe and we can all have that safe place and we can create that safe place for others. And that is my goal for the future, and I know that it is yours. So together, shenanigans.
Here at UUCL, we like to say that joining the congregation is not the end of the journey, it's the beginning of an adventure, or the beginning of shenanigans. You're stepping into a community that grows, evolves, and becomes more vibrant every time a new person brings their light into the room. Today, that light belongs to each of you, Steve and Jamie. One of the most beautiful things about UUCL is that we are not a spectator congregation. We are a hands-on, hearts-in kind of community. Committees and volunteer teams are where our ideas turn into action, where creativity meets purpose, and where friendships form over coffee, shared projects, and the occasional, or more than occasional, wait, who has the password for that? Committee work here isn't about filling slots on a chart. It's about discovering what gifts you bring and finding joyful ways to use them. Maybe you're a spreadsheet wizard. Maybe you have an accounting background. Maybe you love hospitality. Maybe you have a passion for music, social justice, finance, communications, or hospitality, especially the snacks. The snacks are important. We always honor the spiritual importance of snacks. Whatever your talents, your curiosities, or even your secret skills you haven't told anyone about yet, we are excited about what you will bring. Truly, this congregation becomes stronger, more creative, and more alive with every person who leans in, shows up, and says, yes, I can help with that. So today, we don't just welcome you as members. We welcome you as co-creators of this community. We welcome your ideas, your passions, your questions, and your humor. We welcome the gifts you have to offer, and some we don't even know about yet. Mr. Rogers said, the urge to make and build seems to be an almost universal human characteristic. It goes way beyond meeting our need for survival and seems to be the expression of some deep-rooted part of being human. It isn't surprising, then, that these acts of creation should be such a large part of children's play. But we don't have to understand all of someone else's creative efforts. What's important is that we communicate our respect for their attempts to express what's inside themselves. Steve, Jamie, thank you for choosing to share your spiritual journey with us. We are so glad you're here, and we cannot wait to see what we will build together. Welcome home.
You have signed our membership book, and now I invite you to celebrate that commitment with us. Joining the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Lakeland means being part of this funky little church community under the tall pines. It means pitching in and speaking out on the future of our congregation. It means being supported and receiving the gifts of the Spirit so you may grow yourself, and it also means giving to and supporting others. It means helping us as a whole and interconnected church community work towards our mission of love plus connection equals transformation, and towards the aspirations that we have for ourselves and the world. But as fun as this all sounds, and it is, being a part of a church community can also be hard work. In this community, you will form many relationships, and most of the time, you will be fulfilled by those relationships. But sometimes, those relationships will be hard. It always happens. We will fail one another. And that's why we have covenants. Not because we think we can live into them perfectly, but because we know we won't. We know that we will have to center ourselves in love and forgive one another. We'll have to revisit our covenants and promise each other that we'll do better, even if, and especially when, we disagree. As the popular UU saying goes, love is hard. Do it anyway. If you will join us in this mission and aspirational work, please say, I will. Will the members of the congregation please rise and read the words on the screen behind me? We receive you with open hands and hearts. As you join us, we once again renew our own commitment to this religious community. We are proud and happy to have you among us. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you. So you may be seated as we also read together our UUCL aspirational statements that we recently voted to accept. It will remind us of the work that we are doing together. There's an insert in your order of service. And, it's on the screens because Crystal is awesome. She doesn't miss a beat. We aspire for ourselves a spiritual home where individuals feel seen, heard, and valued, where they can explore their beliefs freely, deepen their self-awareness, and grow in love and justice. We aspire for our congregation to be a beacon of inclusivity, pluralism, and action, a dynamic and engaged community that fosters deep relationships and ignites passion for justice. We aspire to contribute to the creation of a Polk County, which is a county people of all backgrounds find belonging, and interfaith collaboration fosters a more just society. We aspire to create a world rooted in justice, equity, and interdependence where humanity thrives with the earth. Beautiful, wonderful. So you've entered into our covenants, and now I wonder, won't you be our neighbors? This is a sing-along, and so the words will be up on the screen, and you have them in your order of service. And we'll just give Crystal a sec to, there we go. Just like you, I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you. So let's make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, we might as well say, would you be mine? Would you be mine? Would you be my neighbor? Please, won't you be my neighbor? Oh, well. Growing inside, and when you wake up, ready to say, I think I'll have a snappy today. It's such a good feeling, a very good feeling, the feeling you'll know that I'll be back. The day is new. I'll have more ideas for you. You'll have things you'll want to talk about. I will too. that just what you needed? All right. I will have Gal read our closing words. And we'll sort of say goodbye, then we'll go to the social hall and we'll talk more because we always have more we want to share, right?
So again from Mr. Rogers, he said, a high school student wrote him to ask, what was the greatest event in American history? I can't say. However, I suspect that like so many great events, it was something very simple and very quiet with little or no fanfare, such as someone forgiving someone else for a deep hurt that eventually changed the course of history. The really important great things are never center stage of life's dramas. They're always in the wings. That's why it's so essential for us to be mindful of the humble and the deep, rather than the flashy and the superficial. Let us be a community that pays attention to what is deep, our connections to one another, and may those connections quietly change the world. So please join me in extinguishing our chalice. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of love, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and out into the world.
Go out into the world now. Remember how unique and special you are, and so is every neighbor that you meet. You are loved, you are worthy, and you are amazing. See you in the social hall. Or at the car wash.
Or at the car wash. Oh my God, car wash. Oh,
No, my car needs a wash.
yeah, mine does too, but I'm very fussy about how my